All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. Anyway, so Region 11 is going to beat Region 7 at Region 6. I've been saying that for the last few months, and that's what I want to talk about. We have a gentleman here who he's the man with 100 names. He's not the only one. My man Rashid is, with the stuff. Rest in peace to Little K, Asatina, this guy here has as many names as anybody that ever heard of him. However, he's really good people. And without further ado, I'm going to get him here for a long time, but he was over at the barber today, I guess. So we got, I'm just going to call him Sijo, Apache, Wright. Are you in the house, sir?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
How you feeling, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
Well, we used to say super good and getting better, but when I was in the Bronx, they used to say super good and getting better.
Well, in the shy is I'm doing great.
So, all right, so what I'm going to talk to you about, as you can see, this is an MA Power Talk. Now, this is something that I put together. Literally, my first MA Power Talk was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Guys like Joe Corley, Ray McCallan, John Longstreet, Rudy Smetley, and then all the way in the East Coast, Hassan Khalid, and Wilfredo Roman, rest in peace to Tommy May, and on and on and on and on. Or even and Christine Bannon Rodriguez, I even heard. Oh, and Malaya Castros. And there's a whole long list of other people that I can probably mention right now. Some of them have passed away, which is horrible. But just the other day, I'm like, you know what? It's time for another MA Power Talk. MA standing for martial arts, Power Talk, talking a variety of things. So you and I have been speaking lately in the last probably close to 3 months, more than our entire lifetime combined. Even though you even came all the way to the Bronx, we never had a chance to really speak as often as recently. And the Region 7 and 11 thing, guys, I want to talk about that first because back in the day, when you open up Karate Illustrated, you will see the ratings. And Region 7 had a whole bunch of incredible competitors there. Even a guy named Steve Ecknor or something like that. Did I bring you back there? So let's just talk about that. You and I are about the same age, half of 100 plus a little more. And say it again?
Don't count after that.
It doesn't count. Once you made it to 50, you start counting backwards. We're looking at becoming 0. But coming up in Region 7, it's such a diverse group of incredible competitors, including Freddie Lutuli, who's Arlene Lemus, forget about that.
Scorpion, Tankson, Butcher.
And a whole army, right? You had Cricket towards the end, you had Mongoose right before, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mashawn Berry.
Oh, yeah, I must have want to call him Michelle. Got blocked in my head. And one of the few people who actually has been able to correct me on some of my explicit information. So if you don't mind, I'm going to put myself not on mute, but I'm going to put myself on mute. Give me the overview what we did back in the 1970s or 80s in terms of being influenced by Region 7. Who are the top people for you?
Well, definitely this is where I am and where I got my start. So my instructors, my original instructors were the Baker's brothers and the Preston Otis and Eddie Baker. And these gentlemen trained under Jimmy Jones, Grandmaster Jimmy Jones. Now, it was a big rivalry back then with New York versus Chicago with Ron Van Cleef and Jimmy Jones and Jim Kelly and different other people that was on the New York squad and the Chicago squad, Scorpion, Tankson. I came right on the tail end of that. The names that I just mentioned, those are my seniors. Joe Ward, Robert Seabury, there's some other names that you might know, might not know. And like you said, Freddie Lutuli. So the tournament circuit was hot and heavy, man. We had really 3 circuits that was going. but two that was going like really strong. One was the Midwest circuit with Tom Latuli started, and that was a tournament, 2 to 3 tournaments every month. Every month without fail, somebody was having a tournament. And then the AKA tournaments. And so they did have the rating system. Guy named Skipper Davenport through Master John Vincent. It was a lot of cats back in the day that made those ratings, the top 10, and everybody wanted to be in the ratings. You know, you win first place at this tournament, you show up to this one and the other person didn't show up, what have you. But competition was fierce. Everybody had a chance to win when you stepped in the ring. And so, you know, every week we had to show up and bring our A game, you know. And like I said, I was the young cat of the group. So these guys were 10, 15 years older than me. And, you know.
Hey, so hold on a second. I don't think we look alike, but you and I were in the same situation where we were like mere mortals fighting against some superheroes.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yep.
Let's keep it real. The people you just mentioned themselves, the Baker brothers, I mean, their descendants, mention some of the descendants they're from. That legacy is no joke.
Absolutely. Joe Ward, Kenny Patton, James Isaac, Brad Hughes. I mean, the list is
on and on and on.
Yeah, these guys all beat me up growing up.
And that's how we learn, right? From our mistakes, no problem. I know people laugh at me because they say, "You're crazy. Why you always praise that your teeth are crooked from a broken jaw?" And that's the greatest lesson I ever had in my life. And other people can't show their black eyes because they got better. Mine, I walk around with my trophy, no black on your face, it could be painful. I could have been handsome. Maybe, maybe not.
Warrior marks.
Bro, let me tell you something. We all have these wounds that aren't really wounds. They're badges of honor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we know we are crazy, but not alone.
Well, like you and I, both teenagers fighting in the adult division.
Man,
that was.
And it's crazy when you think about it. You mentioned Richard Davenport, and I had mentioned him before too. And at that time, again, yeah, Lady Kung Fu, Richard Davenport, and the brothers, oldest one being Rick, coming down from Wisconsin. And these people literally, oh my God, they were getting pressed.
Also part of Region 7 was Detroit. So we had Richard Plowden, we had Dino Kane, we had all of them cats up there. And in St. Louis, we had Anthony Price. And so Region 7 was heavy, man.
But just to be fair, it's a big region. Holy smokes, they got multiple states. And some of you guys are saying, what are you guys talking about? I'm saying that it was a different world. No doubt about it. Because at any given day, somebody, you know, anybody, they would just snatch you. You know, these guys were, the sweep was in, the groin kick was in, and it seemed like when they say stop, about 2 or 3 punches were going to happen.
Absolutely. You got to protect yourself no matter what.
You know what, though, was so cool? The Goan Samoan with his blue uniform.
Yeah, Freddie, yeah.
I mean, flavor. Rest in peace to Tom Latuli, Lama Nationals. A lot of guys don't know.
Rest in peace, Freddie, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, guys. You see so many people transcend. There's a person in particular that reminds me of that, of the Freddie Latulis, more of the Richard Davenport. These were guys that were juniors.
Matthew Glasper, man.
Well, we'll talk about him for a second because from what I understand, he's from a different planet. You know, that guy's always been on a whole other level, right? And it's consistent. Even to this very day, he'll throw 100 kicks with no problem. With weights on his legs or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Still does. Yep.
Right. So, but what I'm saying is that there's a particular article in Karate Illustrated that had the top Kiwis in the country, and Richard Davenport was mentioned. I'm sure you read that article. And there was also a guy from Texas, rest in peace. Oh my God, Brewster Mackin. And when I read that, I was like, you know what? I can't wait until I am able to be spoken in the same sentence as those guys. And I had a chance to become friends with Musta Mackett. Rest in peace to him. Arlene Lemus and I know each other since 1982. That's my girl, Lady Kung Fu. You know, she's the Mexican Polish chick. You know, oh man, I love her. I love her. I love her. And then she had a crew of some really good fighters too.
Oh yeah, Arnold, Jose, the Pacheco, Jose, what the heck was his last?
It's interesting. He just mentioned Jose Pacheco, and that's Junior Jose from the other coast. This guy, like I tell you guys, it's not just me that has a memory where people say, oh my God, how can you remember so much? I'm not alone. I have an alter ego in Region 7 because 7 and 11 sound similar, except that 7 loses to 11 at Region 6. I keep having that. I don't know. I keep having that.
Both lucky numbers, 7 and 11, both lucky numbers. I don't know about 6. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why we go to Region number 6. You know, to try to eliminate that nonsense so it becomes good. We're gonna try to do transformation. But we're not getting too deep, guys. This guy can get deep too. Sometimes he looks like a Shaolin monk. Sometimes he looks like some dude down the block. You know, this guy can speak English and Spanglish, you know, Ebonics and nuclear physics all in one sentence. Yata, ayo, yo, chango, all across the board, guys.
Oh, you went there. Okay.
But this is the most important thing, guys. We're energy. We're not bodies. We're vessels and frequencies. In recent months, you and I have had conversations that pretty much was deeper than most people in general. But most people, their book doesn't have too many different types of chapters in it. So when I speak to you, it's like, wait a second, who am I speaking to? I'm speaking to a guy that all depends on what stage of life. I mean, I understand you're not just a father, but your grandfather. Who am I? In addition to that, we met in Atlantic City a few times, took some nice photos there. That's when you was part of the Shaolin monks, and I love that. When I think about it, guys, yes, there was Africans in Shaolin because the whole world was African at one time. Just anyway, over the subject, and we could talk about that one because not just them, but samurais too. Uh-oh, uh-oh. You know, at the same time, this dude here might look like a Middle Eastern, but he's really a Borinque. That means I'm an Arawake, who also has Spain, Africa, gave birth to a Puerto Rican, a Dominican, a Cuban, etc.
Absolutely. You got a lot of hats too, man. You got a lot of hats.
That's the whole thing about it. So how could I be prejudiced? I should say racist. I could be prejudiced. I don't like liars. I don't like cheats. I don't like pedophiles. I don't like freaking lazy people. But I'm not racist. How could I? When I have a whole, I got cousins that are blue, like with green eyes, with green eyes. And I can show you, named Luis Sanchez. You know what I'm saying? So I can never have that nonsense. And you heard me say it before. Maybe I'm wrong, guys. But you know what it's about? It's about the hair. People, it's about the freaking hair. In a lot of families, am I wrong?
Well, I mean, where do I fall in?
Well, what happened with you was that wasn't you that guy in Coming to America that had the Jerry curl juice, and that's the reason your hair fell out? Possibly.
I did have that, but not that much. That was more Scorpions group had all of the Jerry curls.
My name is Jerry. I never had those. But those guys, oh my God. I love that whole S-O-C SOC crew.
Yep.
Man, you had layers of competitors. If I had to ask you, and I know this is not an easy question, if I had to ask you your top 3 favorite, now favorite guys does not have to mean they're the best. Favorite could just mean that they had, see how the pressure's on, my man's thinking already, I can see the smoke. Male fighters from that region, regardless of decade, because we saw people in the 70s, the 80s, and we probably could stop in the 90s. And after that, it was teens. It's probably early 90s was everything when they got rid of a lot of things. That, you know. But if you had to mention three, no reason why, no particular order, what three would you mention? Yeah, I know, got to make it a little simpler.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it, not in any particular order.
No.
Well, two of the gentlemen I fought and we fought regularly was Larry Tankson and Butcher. I didn't get a chance to fight Scorpion, but notice Scorpion and Butcher from the same camp. You know,
Scorpion and Butcher even competing against each other, which was like watching a mirror in some cases. But I have that. Butcher's been the only one to take Scorp's posture with the axe kick and mimic it exactly.
Well, let me tell you this though. I found out later, because he's one of my seniors under the Bakers, that Matthew Glasper was one of the ones who trained Scorpion. So
it makes sense.
I never had an opportunity. Well, actually, I did fight Matthew Glasper one time.
Oh, man. Wait a second. Hold on a second. He tried to kill you, did he?
He knocked me out. Only person ever knocked me out was Matthew Glasper.
I never been knocked out. I never been knocked out with the broken jaw. I've never been knocked out with a broken jaw. So are you complaining or are you bragging?
No, well, you know what? I don't even remember. I just saw the video.
Oh. And did you retire from that?
No, absolutely.
But how many people would have?
Hmm?
How many people would have?
Oh, you know what? It's just about, okay, I learned not to do that no more. And that's it.
It's almost like you can't get mad at the water if you jump in and get wet, right? If you went to swim.
If you almost drowned but didn't, that shouldn't make you afraid to get back in the water. You know, so there's an almost.
So wait a minute. So it seems like to me, I asked you for three, and you mentioned four, but we'll keep it together there because I concur with those four.
Yeah.
Dangerous dudes. However, at least three of them, I had two of them, I should say, I had really pretty decent relationships with. Only competing against one, and I was very scared. However, I was more scared of my mother, so I did win, according to the judges. I wish I had that on videotape because just being in the ring was like.
Okay, you have to say who it is.
I can't, but I would give a hint. It is an insect. Anyhow, so from.
Okay, all right.
Oh my God.
We'll talk off camera with this one.
Yeah, no, honestly, no, we can talk about it now, in all honesty. So I'm getting ready to fight. I'm in the light heavyweight division. Billy Blanks is there. Scorpion Barrage is there. Hakeem Austin is there. I'm going to probably add Kevin Burton from the UK and a bunch of other people. It's at the one of the Atlantic Oil tournaments. And this one, I believe, it might have been, if I would have to guess, it would be Philadelphia. It was Philadelphia. And it was for third place. Like, it might be scored by maybe a point or two. But just to be fair, one of the advantages that I had was I knew how to take that fear to my advantage and move freaking good that early. And I also knew Scorpion's style. See, Scorpion has this distinctive posture. Like he's getting ready to go to the bathroom or something. He's looking around. You know what I'm talking about too, right? And then the way he puts his shoulder inside, and then he has this on and off rhythm. Holy smokes, his posture looks like he's going to kick it to the groin, even though there was no groin kick, but he'll kick it to that.
He was doing the Chicago stepping while he was on the floor.
Man, let me tell you something. I had to do some side just to get out the damn way. Boom, 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 boom. Scorpion, to me, is one of the top 5 fighters of all time.
I would agree.
In addition to that, one of the top 5 instructors of all time.
Agree too. He used to bring a gang of black belts to tournaments.
Ladies, in every division, men and women, children, seniors. He had before anyone had seniors. Because he was a senior. He didn't fight it until he had to, because he had to fight against his own students. Now, that was quite often, but the rivalry from where's my dogs at? They're right here, y'all. Where's my dogs at? Larry Tanks used to let the dogs out, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Guys, so we're just fans that had a chance to participate. Say it again, sorry.
Tanks had a gang of black belts too. He had a lot too, you know, and still does. He's continued to produce. And that's one thing about Tanks is he has been consistent. Out of everybody that I know, he has been the most consistent from day one. And
yeah. He comes from a legacy too that's pretty that runs.
Oh, yeah. He actually had some training with one of my instructors, Otis Baker. He trained with he trained with John Vincent. He trained with Izzy Mitchell, I believe it was. I might be wrong in that.
Hey, let me ask you one question. If I say one name, because to me the top promoter between the 60s and 70s was one guy, Jimmy Jones.
By far. To this day, nobody has duplicated what he did in the 60s and 70s.
And
nobody.
Do you know who he worked with that was from New York?
Aaron Banks.
Great Grandmaster Aaron Banks and Jimmy Jones. These guys were like, oh. Guys, those of you who are listening to this who appreciate it, that means that you old. No, honestly, that means that you're the true school. I think the truth is timeless. I don't believe in old school and new school. I think that, you know, if you're lucky, you get a chance to be old. And a lot of these people are not around anymore. But I know they're shining right now, baby. They're shining right now because we love them to this very day. You know, look at those photos of the East versus the Midwest. Holy, with Grandmaster Soki, Ron Van Cleef there, Shorty Mills.
Yep.
Who wasn't short?
Not at all. 7-footer.
Guys, so you get the idea of how we stay young. We stay young when we pay homage to the people that we stand on the shoulders of, those giants that we dearly, a lot of them don't even realize, I believe, that we even know their name. They always thought that the generation after them didn't give them props. That wasn't the case in my, you know, I appreciate people, man.
I'll tell you one other person that really kind of had an impact on my fighting style was Rick Rufus.
Rick Rufus! And yeah. Daddy wasn't too far from him. How about his younger brother, Duke? Talk about flavor for a big dude, footwork and style and angles. We talk about Rick the Jet before he became big.
Right, yeah, I fought him when he was a middleweight in points. And he had an effect on me because that was the first time somebody caught me with left hands and just, he outscored me with just left reverse punches. I'm like, huh? So,
guys, by the way, that's one of the secret weapons. To this very day, we have a left-hand reverse punch that gives you an advantage. What he probably did was pick up the right knee through the left leg, to the left hand. And then when you try to look at the right, because the right kick will hit you in the head too. Mm-hmm. But then that will create the space for him to slide that reverse punch.
He couldn't get me with his kicks, but he would sneak that punch in every time.
Yeah, but you had to be aware of the kick. So when you're thinking, I'm not going to let him kick me in my head, boom, hit you to the body. What the heck?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
My whole thing has always been strategy. If you had to say that you had a superpower, one or two of them, that help you survive or win or what have you, I'll share what mine were thinking. I wasn't big and strong, never have been. So I had to be healthier. I was a sick kid. So I figured if I ate better inside, I'd be healthier. And I had to be smarter, strategy-wise. I used the linguistics that Muhammad Ali or Dusty Rhodes, or those other flamboyant types, Ric Flair, of course, from wrestling, Superstar Billy Graham, all those types that learned from George.
I wasn't smart. So I would say my superpower was I didn't want these guys to hit me. Because I was fighting adults in the dojo all the time, and it hurt. So
yeah, so you was able to take fear and turn it to your advantage.
Absolutely. I was going to hit them first and fast and often before they got a chance to get the technique off. That was my, I wasn't going to just sit there.
So let me explain something to you. What you just mentioned is exactly what I did. My nickname is not Fast Feet. It's Fearless Fast Feet. I just never used the fearless part. My mother gave me that nickname. What she meant was, I don't want you to be a punk. So I was always afraid because I'm fighting these monsters or superheroes. So I ran at them and they were surprised. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep, absolutely, 100%. I think that's my number one superpower because I would look at these champions, whether they was bigger than me or whatever, but they was champions, you know, and I was like, I know if I let him score on me, he's going to win. So I couldn't, my goal was to not let.
But mind you, win wasn't just win. You may get kicked to the groin, kicked to the head, stomped in one combination.
Well, I used to do a groin grab.
Excuse me, Dougie Fresh.
You know, we line up and they going, and I just grab and I take them around to the judges like I got the technique, I got the point.
Bruce Lee did that.
Did he?
Yeah, he grabbed the guy to the groin. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to remember exactly where that was at. Holy smokes! You know, I got to think about what scene that was. If it wasn't Bruce, it was a karate movie. The guy grabbed the groin, pulls the guy, and they headbutt each other. Anyhow.
Hey, Fast Feet, I'm going to have to get ready to wrap it up. I got to
No. We're done because we're 2 minutes over. Guys, listen, again, I appreciate it. This is part 1 of what will be multiple parts of Region 11. It's going to be Region 7 over at Region number 6. We're going to find out. Time will tell. AB.
See ya.
We out of here. Thank you very much. God bless.
You at the top.
Yes. Got it.